Welcome. It's Liz from Westar Tarot, and today I am finally doing my VR to Marine at the Waves of Your Soul Top 10 Tarot of 2023. And I've had these decks pulled out for probably 2 weeks now, and just either I felt like it but didn't have the time, or I had the time but didn't feel like doing the video. And today it is December 31st, and I thought, hey, it's now or never. I don't want to be doing this in 2024. So here I am on the last day of the year with my top 10 tarot decks. So I've been thinking about this, and what is it that I mean by my top 10 tarot? So it isn't necessarily my favorites. It isn't necessarily the most used. It was more decks that came into my collection that made an impact, excited me, healed me, inspired me. I loved the artwork. I don't know. So that's what I mean by the top 10. And I will sort of address that as I go through and speak about each one of these lovely decks. Several of them I actually ended up getting, let's see, one, two, I think one, two, three are very recent. And so that's why they can't be favorites, because I just haven't either used them at all or used them much. So without further ado, let me start in. And I'm just realizing this was not done on purpose, but Maureen, if you watch this video, I hope you appreciate that I have the World Cup rugby beret on that I got in Paris in October when I was in Paris. So that is a nod to you as the French tarot reader. All right, here we go. So this is the only one of these decks that I didn't get in 2023. I got it in 2022, but in December of 2022. It was a solstice gift last year from my sister, and is this one, the Wee Moon Tarot, by the folks who have been creating the Wee Moon date book and the Wee Moon wall calendar for 40 years, over 40 years, I think since 1980. And my sister gifts me that date book every year, and has been for probably at least 20 years. And I really look forward to it. The art is beautiful. It's progressive. It has the moon phases. It's feminist. I just love it. So anyway, they last year put out a tarot deck using the artwork from their 40 years of, producing calendars. So here are the backs. And this is the Great Mother, aka the Empress. I love her. Stars, not star, but stars. This is the Nine of Water. Oh, it's gorgeous. The Magician, or aka the Witch. Sacred Paths. I love this moon card. It's actually from Kathy McClellan's Star Tarot. This, I think, is one of my favorite cards in the entire deck. One of Earth. Oh my gosh. Look at that. The Priestess, so our High Priestess. And I love this, Restorative Justice. And we are really in need of that now, wouldn't you say? Strength. Hermit, aka Crone. And I'll end with, let's see, what do I want to end with? How about this? This is also from Kathy McClellan's. And there's one, here we go. This one is from the Weaver's Oracle. So I love that, oh, look at this. I love that several of their images, there's a couple of cards that come from the Dark Goddess Tarot by Ellen Lorenzi Prince. I didn't have to pull those out. Anyway, it's a beautiful feminist deck, and the imagery is beautiful. And it's one of my top decks for so many reasons, partly because of the feminist connection that I feel with it. Yeah. All right. 9. This one might have been higher, but I just got it in December and I have not used it too many times. And it is the Witch Sister Tarot by Julia Jeffrey. And you probably know that she also created the Hidden Realm. And if you didn't know that, when you see this artwork, you'll know. Oh, I wish they had used the same cardstock that they used for the Hidden Realm. This shit is so shiny. It's annoying. But anyway, look at that. Gosh, it's gorgeous. Ace of Skies. The Fool. 10 of Stones. There are a lot of crones and elders in this deck, which I really appreciate. It's got Scottish legends discussed and portrayed. The guidebook talks about a lot of different Scottish legends. And since I have my grandparents, my dad's parents were from Scotland, and I still have a lot of family in Scotland, so I feel a connection to Scotland. And I plan to use this, man, this shiny ass deck for ancestral work, connecting to my paternal ancestors. So I have hopes to do that in 2024. You know, I make these plans. Let's see what happens. Look at this. This is Ancient Starlight. So this is the star. It's just so shiny. Beautiful artwork. And the guidebook is interesting too. Like I said, there's some Scottish myths, lore, and legend, which I am happy to see. This is the Magician. I love this. Gorgeous. King of Waters. So King of Cups. Beautiful. And the Hermit. So that is Witch Sister by Julia Jeffrey. And as I said, it has just come into my collection. I have only used it a handful of times. So that's 10, 9, 8. This is the Raven's Dream by MJ Cullinane. And now I was complaining about the cardstock in the previous deck, but thank you, MJ, for changing your cardstock. She had the slipperiest cardstock. I mean, you would put the deck, in a pile on your altar or reading table while you were doing a reading, and it would just slide, just crazy slippery. This is a little more rose petally. I love it, and I hope that she decides to stick with this. I did have the Crow Tarot, but I gifted that to my sister when I found out that she loved crows. And now I have the Urban Crow and the Urban Crow expansion pack. And of course, I'm enjoying using them together. I'm not a big pairer of decks. And even when I do pair, I don't like to do that matchy-matchy too much. But since this has a lot of animals other than crows and ravens, I feel like it's not so matchy-matchy. Love the artwork, love the animals. And the guidebook is interesting too. So that is my number 8. All right, number 7. This is Tarot for the Great Outdoors. And I just got this 2 or 3 months ago, sometime in the fall. And really like this deck a lot. Terrible cardstock. It's just really, really bendy. But I love the artwork and I love the concept behind this. So the 21 majors all take place in United States national parks. This is, after all, Tarot for the Great Outdoors. And, you know, all the bad things I can say about the government of the United States. One of the good things I can say is that we have national parks and they're pristine and they're being kept aside. Thousands and thousands, I want to say maybe even millions of acres of land that are put aside. And on the card, so this is the High Priestess. This is the Glacier Bay National Park. And I'm sad to say I have not been to very many of these parks. Olympic National Park in Washington. This is the Redwood National State Park. So state and federal parks. Look at that. Oh my gosh. Hierophant. This is one of my all-time favorite hermit cards. And this is at Voyageurs National Park. Look at that. Don't you want to be there in that cabin? Oh, Moon is Craters of the Moon National Monument. This is the one closest to me. This is Acadia National Park in Maine, and I have been there. And it's one of the first places in the U.S. that you can see the sunrise every morning. It's very far east. Chariot. Beautiful. It's just lovely, isn't it? Magician. The World. I've really enjoyed using this deck, and I think I feel like it's more of a summery deck than a wintry deck. So I hope that I will be using it in the summer more frequently than I am right now. I have quite a few wintry decks that I'm using now. Yeah, and here's finally the wheel. So, go lie down. I just wanted to show a couple of minors because, I mean, you gotta love a deck that has a manatee in it. And then I love this because I can so relate to this lady. I feel like, yeah, that's what I want to be. I want to be the camp host in my streamline. Love that. So that is the Great Tarot of the Great Outdoors. And that is number 7. Number 6, I just got it like maybe a week and a half, 2 weeks ago. So I was at this kind of craft fair type of thing in Salem, Massachusetts, and had absolutely no intention of buying a tarot deck. I actually wanted to buy some beeswax candles, which I did do. And I came across this table. This guy was doing all kinds of beautiful aromatherapy sprays for spell casting and so forth and so on. But he also sold tarot decks. Il Manago tarot decks. So if you know anything about these decks, they're hand cut and handmade, and they come from Italy. They're reproductions of ancient decks. This is in order. I have not used it yet. Look at the colors. Look at the colors. Whoops. And since I want to be working with and studying Pip decks, Tarot de Marseille style decks next year, I mean, I wasn't going to buy this, but he had an open deck that you could look through. And it literally, I had a visceral response to this deck. And I was with a friend of mine and I said, oh my gosh, I have a visceral response. So they told me that meant I had to buy it. So I did. The good news is I saved about $30 in postage by buying it from this guy instead of buying it from the folks in Italy. And apparently their decks tend to get lost in the mail as well. So this is, let me see. So this is Naibi di Giovanni Vacchetta. It's Il Manago Edizioni from Milan. Beautiful box, beautiful cardstock. It just, I don't know, it just has this wonderful feeling. And as I said, I might have rated it higher, but I really haven't used it. You could see those majors were still in order. So let's see, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. So the reason that I picked this deck to be in my top 10 is because it makes a statement. It's called Tarot Neocolonial de las Americas. It's by Patrick McGrath Muniz. And I want to just read quickly the back. So this is U.S. Games. And I'm like, well, go U.S. Games, because you're not the most politically woke company. But anyway, Tarot Neocolonial de las Americas explores the period when the New World and the Old World collided, bringing about a turning point in human civilization and the dawn of globalization. As a Puerto Rican artist, Patrick McGrath Muniz felt compelled to address issues of social and economic struggles through his tarot art. The result is a stunning series of visual narratives depicting 500 years of American and European colonialization and conquest in Latin America. There is much to be learned from history, and these lessons can be applied to our lives through the art and archetypes of tarot. And you know, so we've been talking about colonization a lot since Israel has started its war on Palestine. We know that that's a whole colonial situation. But of course, anyone who lives here in the New World, so-called, by the colonizers anyway, is aware of the issues that we have here. So this is really, if you look closely at the artwork, there are real statements made. This is our good old buddy Teddy Roosevelt. Although I must say about Teddy Roosevelt, he was one of the instigators behind the national park system, so guess I got to give him that. Look at this one. I picked this as a card to show because I feel like this guidebook in this deck makes the connection between colonialism from governments and from, for example, the Catholic Church. And of course, who came here to the shores of Massachusetts and Virginia, the East Coast, New England, and mid-Atlantic area, but Anglican church folks. So there is a real tie-in from religion, Christianity, I guess I should say, and colonialism, death. This artwork is, oh, look at that. It packs a punch. This is not a warm and fuzzy deck. And I have used it a few times, but nowhere near as much as I want to. So I have not really gotten to know this deck well. But I really look forward to that process. Yeah, this is the Priestess La Papessa. And I don't know if you can hear my dog moaning and groaning, but I'm just going to step up a second and let her out. I swear, I will be sitting around in this house for hours and she won't bark, she won't want to go out, but as soon as I sit down to do a video, it's like she starts barking, she wants to go out. It's just like, All right, so 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, yeah. So this is number 4. The Witch's Wisdom by Phyllis Curott and artwork by Danielle Barlow. And I fell in love with this deck, the artwork, and I just liked what Phyllis said about, let's see, I wonder if there's, I don't know if I think I did a walkthrough of this, so I know I've spoken about this before in my channel, but so I'm not going to go into the guidebook, but I do love this, the artwork and the concept. So Phyllis flipped the majors. So here's, the moon is at card 4 instead of card 18. Council of All Beings is 21. I love, love, love Danielle's. So this is Wisdom Keeper 17, and it would be the Hierophant. So Ace of Pentacles, or she uses Earth, Air, Fire, Water. Here's the World card at number 1. Strength at 14. This is the Wheel at 12. And I love this Ancestor card. You have Goddess of Fire. This is the Six of Air. Healing instead of Temperance. Love instead of the Lovers. And I always love Fox. Here's the Pilgrim or the Fool. And she does write in the guidebook about the Fool's journey. And in fact, you can see the Fool pop up in other cards. Eight of Water. I'm so enamored of this artwork and of this whole concept. It's so witchy. The cards and the directions and everything is in the same order that I put them in, which is just kind of comforting and makes it easier to use the deck. I love this Priestess at number 20. Look at that Priestess with that moon. Oh my gosh. That card is gorgeous. The Sun. No creepy baby. And this, I think, is one of my favorites. The Great Mother. So this is the Empress. So that is a deck I really enjoyed, and when I got it early in 2022, March, April, May, I got it in March, April, May, and even into June, I really used it a lot. So that's one of my top decks. Next, number 3. This is the Jean Noblet Terre de Marseille, and this deck is in my top 10 decks of 2023, even though I have not used it yet. So again, I want to dive into some Tarot de Marseille work in 2024. But this deck is in my top 10 because I got it in Marseille. And my great-grandmother was from Marseille. And so I have the witch's sister for my Scottish, my paternal side of my family, the Scottish ancestry to do ancestral work. And this one is for my maternal side, my grandmother's family who hailed from Marseille. And I did get to go to Marseille for the first time, probably the only time, in October when I was in France. And I was determined to get a Tarot de Marseille. And so my friends who are French, they found a shop for me. And I did get this wonderful Jean Noblet deck. I love how the corners are pokey. And one of the really cool things about this was, the shop owner did not speak English, so I have my franglais and my French friend, who obviously is bilingual, was talking to the shop owner and telling him my little story. And the guy reached under the cabinet and counter and brought this up. It's the Tarot of Marseille of Jean Noblet. So he got me the little white book in English. So so that made me really happy. I have a copy now of the little white book. It mainly addresses the majors in English. So that will make it a lot easier for me to read. So this is really a big, exciting deck for me. Like I said, even though I have not used it yet, it's just really important to me that I got a Tarot de Marseille from Marseille, and that I'm going to be able to use it and dedicate it for ancestral work. So that's that. Deck number 2. The Fifth Spirit by Charlie Claire Burgess. I got this deck earlier in the year, and I have been using it nonstop ever since. I think Charlie did such an incredible, look at that moon card. Oh my gosh, that is just what I like to see in the moon card. It's stunning. I love this death card. Speaking of ancestry. Queen of Wands. Queen. So the artwork is intriguing. It's how does Charlie put it? May this deck guide you to your truth, for where you find your truth, you'll find your power. And then they say, a queer and inclusive deck for a world beyond binaries. So this is, a wonderfully inclusive deck. Look at that Tower card. All different types of folks. It's just, I don't know. I read with it. I think I've mentioned, I hope not too many times, but several times that I've been having a rough couple years, and this deck tells it like it is. It's not, at least for me, it wasn't a snuggly, huggly, warm and fuzzy deck, but it told me what I needed to hear in a way that I could hear it. So it wasn't too harsh, but it was real. And it really helped me move and process the challenges that I've been, this is the cover, that I've been experiencing this past year or so. And I really appreciate this deck quite a bit. And I've also have gotten Charlie's book, which is wonderful as well. Lulu, come on. Good girl. You know, maybe if I could learn how to edit, I could edit out these moments when Luna is being a dog. Anyway, what is my number one deck? Some of you probably know. This is the pouch I got for it. This is my unicorn deck. And I got it this year in, I think, June or July. And it's the Greenwood Tarot by art by Jessica Potter. And the guidebook is by Mark Ryan. I never, ever, ever thought that I would get this deck. This deck has, I was going to say weird, but I almost want to say bizarre history between the artist and the author. It became one of those decks that was just ridiculously hard to get, and therefore going for thousands, not even hundreds, but I've seen it for like $1,500 online. And you know what? I just can't. Even if I had a spare $1,500, I can't pay that much. That just seems ridiculous. What if you pay $1,500 and then a year later they say, oh, haha, we are going to reprint it. You know, it just seems silly. So many of you probably know that Cheska decided that she didn't really want to have anything to do with this tarot deck anymore. And she doesn't want the author to reprint it. And yet she released the art images in a file to a Facebook group and said anyone could print this deck out who wanted to. And so because I'm technically challenged, or I just couldn't be bothered to try and figure it out, I never did figure out how to print it out on my home printer. And I had posted I had responded to a post on a tarot group called Rare Out of Print, Hard to Find or something tarot decks. And someone had said, what are your, what's the top deck you want that you're searching for or you'd love to get or something like that. So at the time, this was it, the Greenwood, and the oracle that I was looking for was Earth, Moon, and Shadow oracle. So I had one person respond to the Earth, Moon, and Shadow, and I got that deck. They happen to have one. It is going to be reprinted next year, but I didn't feel like waiting a year. So she sold it to me for a very reasonable price. And then someone said they had a reprint. And I said I'm fine with the reprint of the Greenwood. Someone said they had a reprint of the Greenwood. And, we private messaged each other. But it turned out that she was in Australia. And between the price of the deck and the shipping, it was more than I wanted to spend. So I started to think about it, and I thought, well, if they found it and got in reprint form, maybe I should just search. So I went on and I searched for Greenwood Tarot reprint, and it took me to Make Playing Cards, and there was someone had posted Cheska's files. And so I downloaded them, and I now am the proud owner of my unicorn deck, the Greenwood Tarot. And I think it was $55 or something like that. So yay. So I guess I want to say, wait and search and post in Facebook groups or wherever, and you might find your unicorn deck for a lot cheaper than you think. So those are my top 10 decks. As I said, they aren't necessarily the most used or the favorites or whatever, but they made an impact on me. I had powerful readings from some of them. I'm going to use some for ancestral work. Some were really healing and some were really, confronting, but they made an impact, and I'm really kind of in awe of these decks. They aren't for me just your average, run-of-the-mill tarot. Thank you again to Maureen for this great series. Maureen did a wonderful. From the 1st of December to the 25th, she posted a video every other day. And one of the things that I really loved for her reasoning was she said, I know that this time of year can be hard for an awful lot of people. And she said she just wanted to do something that would brighten our days. And that her videos really did brighten my day. So I want to say thank you to Maureen. Look forward to your posts in 2024. And please comment below on what you think about my top 10. And if you have any of these decks, what do you think? What are your top 10? I'd love to hear. So wishing you all peace and love as always. Stay safe. Much love to you all.